Hi, I'm John Leschinski. I'm the lead organizer of PodCamp Toronto. I've been the lead organizer for the last 11 years.
I just want to say that at WHC, we're really proud to have you as a client. We're there to help Canadians succeed online, and I think you're there to help Canadian podcasters to succeed online. When did the PodCamp Toronto start, and why did you start it?
So PodCamp Toronto started in 2007. PodCamps were happening all over the world. Podcasting was we called it new media at the time. Now it's digital media. So PodCamps sprung up in the States. It started in Boston. We had them in Canada. We had PodCamp Toronto, Montreal, Halifax, and PodCamp London, which I was involved in primarily before I moved to Toronto and joined the team here to help them with their graphic design, website, and that sort of stuff. And eventually I was the one left to take over.
Nice, to continue the legacy. And how did you see it evolve throughout those years?
So at the beginning, there was a lot more marketing focus because PodCamp is more than just podcast. It's about any sort of digital media. So there was a lot of marketing sessions, a lot of social media stuff. Vine was big at the time. If anyone remembers Vine. So it's taken a bit more of a turn towards podcasting now that podcasting is more mainstream and more people are looking to get into it. It's a lot more heavy podcasting focus. And we're seeing a lot more of the business side of podcasting come up as well.
Cool. And throughout those years, do you have creators that really marked PodCamp or the podcast landscape in Canada that comes to mind?
We try not to. So part of PodCamp's ethos is like everyone is equal. So we try not to single out anyone or make sure anyone is more important than the other. But people have come to PodCamp, started podcasts, and gone on to do great things. And we're happy for them. We also have people that come in who are established in media, like Amber Mack, who's a sponsor this year, who was on Tech TV and Call for Help with Leo Laporte and stuff like that. So we've had big names come through and big names leave PodCamp. We couldn't be happier to see people grow and flourish because of this event.
What's one piece of advice that you'd have for anyone that's thinking of maybe starting their podcast today in 2025?
Our general advice always has been just do it, just start. A lot of people will be trying to get the perfect sound or make it exactly what they want it to be, but you're never going to really know what it can be or what it could be if you don't just start doing it. You can plan forever and you can hold on to those episodes that you don't think are okay, but until you put them out there, you can't get that feedback from your listeners or the audience or see what needs to change. So we always tell people to just put it out there and see what happens. Podcasting isn't going to be probably your full-time job. This is something that you shouldn't expect to be your life's work from now on, but some people it can be. But you have to start to do that and set your expectations a little bit realistically.
Why did you choose WHC for your website?
So we wanted to keep our data in Canada. We host the Canadian Podcast Awards with you as well. So keeping our membership data in Canada, away from other interests out there. The world's a crazy place right now. So we want to support Canadian businesses and support Canadians in everything we do. So it was an easy choice for us to choose a Canadian web hosting company, and especially one with the name Web Hosting Canada. Easy to find.
Tell me more about the awards that are coming this fall, I believe.
So the Canadian Podcast Awards was something that started at a PodCamp. We one year partnered with BlogTO to do a list of top 10 podcasts in Toronto, and people really responded well to that. So we decided to take this across the country and help promote Canadian podcasters and content creators. And we just finished our 7th year. Next year will be our 8th year, and it's going really well. We have 32 categories, including Indigenous, Francophone, the technical side, and pretty much every category in iTunes that you can think of, true crime, comedy, everything. So it's been a really great event for us. We used to do it in person, but we took it online during the pandemic, and we're finding that it's a really great way for Canadians to connect across the country that way. And we also have a Discord channel that we do now as well to connect Canadians online to help people connect. And it's an industry-based award, so you have to be a Canadian podcaster. So the Discord and the events like this help you connect with other Canadian podcasters who will nominate you and vote for you in the awards.
So you have to be a podcaster to vote?
Yes.
A Canadian podcaster
yes.
to vote? Cool.
And your podcast has to have over 50% Canadian content, so the production, the hosts, all of that has to be majority Canadian to be eligible for the awards.
And do you need a website to participate?
It helps. So we manually verify every podcast. and every user. So when they have their own website, and especially like a .ca website, it really makes their lives a lot easier to confirm that they're Canadian and that they are a podcaster and who they say they are to be eligible for the awards.
And what are other reasons you think any podcaster that starts or that's been on the map for a few years would need a website? What are the benefits according to you?
Every podcaster should have their own website, at least their own domain, to control their marketing. You're stuck at the whims of whatever billionaire buys whatever social media platform you're using to connect with your audience. If you have your own website, that's a central place for people to go where you can collect information from them, for people to get all of your updates, rather than there and having to manage whatever new social network comes up in this day and age. So having a website of your own to control your marketing, to centralize a place where people can come to find out more information is a great resource for any podcaster or any content creator to have, period.
Cool. And if I'm a company or if I'm an influencer in Canada and I want to help PodCamp Toronto, what do I do?
You can email us or message us on any social network. We're on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook. Let us know what you want to do to help. We're always happy to have new hands and new ideas to help make this event happen. It only happens because of sponsors and volunteers. We sort of set up a framework for people and for the community to come together, and it does take a lot of help to make happen.
Thank you, John. It was really insightful, and we're super happy to be here, by the way.
Thank you. It's great to have you here. It's always great to get more people from Quebec coming out this way. We used to have PodCamp Montreal. It'd be great to see that happen again at some point. And I know we have a couple more people from Montreal here today as well.
What about your French?
Oh, my French is horrible. Terrible.
That's pretty good.
I have a very basic French. We're doing Duolingo right now because we deal with a lot of French podcasts now. So it helps us to be able to communicate with the French Canadian audience. And we think it's important to promote French podcasts in Canada. It's our official second language. So it's a big part of the country and we want to make sure those people are represented as well.
Okay. And if you had one last French sentence you could say, would be?
Oh, wow. Oh, je ne sais pas.
It's super well said, by the way. Huh?
French teacher taught me is just say you don't know.
All right. Thank you so much, John. Merci beaucoup.
Thank
It
you.
was really
Merci.
cool.